Alright, so this is a TvZ, and I'm trying a new strategy, which is a Reaper harass into Hellbat harass into mech. That's basically the idea here. And so I do some scouting, he attacks my unit, I run him away knowing he is building, in fact, he's serious about building this hatchery, which is good. Means I can build my command center, which I do. And then I'm going into Reapers, so build my barracks, build my 2 refineries, and 2 supply depots to block the wall in case a Zergling harassment comes in. So in the production tab, he's got some queens going, and the Reapers start to come out, rallied them to here. And my goal is just to harass. I mean, a couple worker kills is fine, but ultimately I want to keep them alive. That's the most important thing. So I've got my orbitals coming, and so the Zergling immediately spots me. So I just want to come in and kill what I can. I'm getting down low, so I run away. No big deal. What am I doing at this point? Factory's down, gases are taken, another Reaper's out, this Reaper's healing. Goal here again, harass, keep the Reapers alive. I think I should skirt the wall next time and start shooting the drones. That's what I'll do next time. That's what I do this time. Okay, good. He sees me. Get some shots off. No worker kills. Reapers are damaged. Get him out alive. That's the key. Third Reaper here. He has no map presence. He can't do anything. He's got 1 Zergling. He's got nothing. And he doesn't produce more Zerglings, which is, what would have been one of my benefits if I got him to. He just goes ahead and drones right up. But what he does do is leave himself open, and I'll show you where. So, okay, I've got the engineering bay going down, I've got the armory going down, got my Hellbats coming, and I've got my starport medevac coming. So, do some damage up here. I think I lose a guy, which is fine. Still have no kills. Queens have taken not much damage, so effectively this has been unsuccessful in terms of damage, but successful in terms of I've kept 3 of my 4 alive, which is good. So now here comes the multi-pronged attack with the Hellbats. He's going up to, okay, so he throws down a spine crawler, throws down a spine and a spore. Spine and a spore, spine and a spore. So now I've got a factory coming, which is going to be important for my tech route to get my tanks out. Here I go. Leave the medevac here, and I come in here. Let's take this nice and slow. So these guys die immediately. What I should have done is had them come up and down and around the corner instead of straight in. But I did want to draw his attack, which I did draw the attack. And now I get to drop in. And let's see what kind of damage I can do here. The goal is to kill workers. Here come the roaches. 8 killed. So, not great, but decent. 53 to 30, so he's ahead. Unit loss tab, I'm behind, he's ahead in that too. What have we got here? Layer is completing, and I've got tanks coming. Okay, this was a big mistake. I got supply blocked, and should have taken my second, which I did not do because I didn't have my tanks out. So this was a mistake here, pretty big one. I should have had 2 tanks by now. And he's producing carapace, defense, speed, attack, so he's basically going to go for a big push. So now I need to be able to defend this pretty strong. Get out my tanks. Here comes the roach push. Here comes my marine. And I immediately try to build a bunch of supply depots. I've got my tank here. Could have been disastrous if this had just been a second later. But here we go. So he does push in and get this first tank because of my wall-in mistake, or the exact timing of that. But that's okay, I've got another tank coming, and I've got a lot of Hellbats. So, at this stage of the game, I've got Hellbats coming, I've got Marines coming, I've got tanks coming, and he just lost everything and was hoping to do some critical damage. Sure, he killed the tank, sure, he killed the supply depot, but he was really hoping to do some critical damage. If you look at the unit loss tab, we're evening out again because of everything he just lost there. He's got a lot more roaches coming, he's going for his third. At this point, I'm going for my third. I'm going for my third CC in a second. So now I put up a couple turrets. Don't want to get hit by an immune harass. He's taking his third. I'm going to make sure I've got my second armory. Tanks positioned for another attack. This is really what I'm concerned with, the second attack, which will end the game. It doesn't come, but now I'm in good shape. And I send a marine out here, he gets killed. So now he's got his third going, I've got my third going. And if you look at the income tab, we're evening out. He had to build a bunch of stuff, and I've got the orbitals, so we're evening out a little bit. His supply is a bit ahead, and by a bit, I mean a lot. He's 60 supply ahead, but it's because he's got a bazillion roaches, which are useless at this point in the game. 50 roaches, which would actually not really even all of them together get through this. 5 tanks, a bunch of marines, and a bunch of Hellbats. So now he's ahead by about 10. I'm transferring workers, getting my saturation right, and I think at this point I decide I want a Raven and Medivacs. The Raven is for something I learned in the last game I played with a similar approach, which is that if you don't have a Raven, roaches with burrow can just burrow, run up under you, and kill you, and it's impossible to scan enough to prevent this from happening. So you need a Raven. So that's what I got. And again, even if the Raven dies after the first main engagement, the most important thing is that he's there to not let my troops get surrounded by the first primary engagement, where there's a massive amount of roaches. So I send a marine in, just to keep him busy. Bring my third down. This one's almost mined out. This one is slightly oversaturated, which I'll fix in a second. So I'm a little behind here, but not a ton. He's producing a Spire, and he's got 66 roaches. That's his army, 66 roaches. And it's a good army, but I've got a good counter in that I've got 6 tanks, a lot of Hellbats, and a lot more on the way. 2 more tanks on the way. So I've got my third factory up, 4th factory up, about to drop a tech lab on that. So 27 of 24 oversaturated, 4 of 6, that's fine. And so I need to get the rest of my workers on this saturation right now. Oh, he's going for another base. So this base is almost mined out. Do a scan here. I see the spire morphing into greater spire, which is what I anticipated. So there's your spire into greater spire. And he's not going mutas here, even though I had my turrets. That was for earlier. He's going into broodlords. So switch it out, get a tech lab on here, and get another starport that'll allow me to produce 3 at a time. Should be enough. 4 would be better, but 3 at a time is good. Okay, so I'm still oversaturated here. I should have pulled some guys off. But I'm in pretty good shape though otherwise. So here we go. Massive roach push. And here's my army. And the minute I see that, I fight. I siege the rest of my tanks, although a ton of them were already sieged. He gets a couple tanks, but just ultimately gets clobbered. So if you just step back for 1 second at the army supplies, he's at 200. So he's trying to kill his units. He wants these to die so that he can open up supply for his new grouping of units. So this was not a failed attack on his part. He obviously would like to kill me, but really what this is he sends one for scouting at every base on the map, and then he goes in and sacrifices them. Yeah, and the reason he sacrifices them is he wants to immediately build corruptors and then broodlords. So they die. He loses something like 60 supply, even more than 60 supply, because he just supplied up with 28 more roaches. So actually, considering he just got 28 more roaches, then I guess that was a failed attack, because I thought he was going to go immediately into corruptors and broodlords, and he's not doing that. So he expected to win that, but either way, he feels afraid of my force, meaning he feels worried that I'm going to be able to come in, so he's built more roaches. And here they come streaming down. He's back up to 180. That was a huge amount of his bank that he just spent. Now I'm going into Thors because I thought there's a chance for mutas, and I just don't have any Thors right now. I've got 1, which is just not enough. And I need to start building more Hellbats. So I push in here. I'm supply capped, which is a problem. Scan my so he runs right in, gets a bunch of my tanks, but again loses all of his supply. And I still have a couple tanks left, and I still got some tanks coming. In the unit tab, he's got 8 roaches, 9 corruptors, so all he has is corruptors. Now, at this point, I am not quite building Vikings yet, which I should be. Should be building. There they are. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 Vikings. 8 Vikings. So I'm going to come in. I'm going to prevent his ability to build roaches. I'm going to kill the roach warren, and I'm going to send everything over to fight. No more roaches. That's it for the roaches. Vikings are on the way. Thors are doing some volleys. Marines are on the way. I've got +2, +3. Here come the Vikings. Ooh, never mind, that's 4 crawler, that's a mistake. So what I do is I try to take out the Greater Spire with these units. Alright, regroup. He's got no bank at this point. He's remaxed twice. His bank is gone. He's using queens to defend. He's effectively only got broodlords. That's all he has left, and he does not have the minerals to build much more. He can't build roaches. He has no roach warren. He can build hydras, infestors, and corruptors. So I run back because I'm taking damage from the queens. He saturated this base. I'm doing good on this one. Doing good on this one. In the income tab, we're roughly even. Plus I've got mules. We're even in supply. He's totally wasted his bank on those roach attacks, which did some damage to my tanks, but did far more damage to him. 120 supply to 160 supply, and that's after his broodlords took out a bunch of my stuff. So again, I'm way ahead in terms of that. I've got I had a better bank, but I'm producing tons of units immediately, and he's doing more corruptors to support his broodlords. And so right now in the units tab, we have 9 corruptors against 9 Vikings, but I also have Marines, tanks, Hellbats, Thors. And my supply is ahead. I'm at 170 to 150 with a bigger bank. So right now, I'm at 160, and I've got my Hellbats burning up all the little broodlings. And I've got my Vikings, my Thors, and my Marines doing a lot of damage. So now that all those corruptors are gone, 1 left. Up here 3 more, but I've got more Vikings coming. So once those corruptors are gone, up 2 more, but now I've got more coming. So we keep adding on more corruptors and more Vikings, and I had the better army. It's now 116 to 155. I'm ahead in supply. And here runs in my force. All the broodlords die to my Vikings the minute those corruptors are dead. And I take out the Greater Spire and the Hive. And he has no bank. He has 100 minerals. If we just take a quick look really very quickly here. He's got 1 base, another base building. This is mined out. This is mined out. He's okay. This is getting close to mined out. So he's oversaturated here. So he's got 2 bases working. I've got 1 base working, so I should have taken another base at this point, which is a good lesson for me. But it's the end of the game. I mean, I'm at 170 supply to 120. I've got a perfect composition here of Vikings, Hellbats, tanks, Thors. And I come in, kill his tech, wipe out his hive, kill his overlords. If you look at the unit loss, it's almost 3,000 to 1,500, so it's getting to be, and again I'm wiping out stuff here and there, but here's his last grouping of roaches. We must have built another roach warren somewhere. There it is. But that's going to do nothing to my full force, which has a bunch of tanks, Hellbats. Here come the Vikings, cleaning everything else up. So I think it was a good lesson for me about taking my third at the right time, protecting it effectively with my units, putting them in between the 2 bases, and then knowing to have those starports ready for if I see any corruptors, which I did see some corruptors here, and then I instantly started building. Again, I could have started building the Vikings right away, but you really want to wait to see if the corruptors come out, because there's a lot of tech paths he could go down, so you need to be ready with your buildings, but not necessarily commit. So we'll just take a quick look at the game graph, since this was a pretty big match for me. Time supply cap 3 minutes out of a 27-minute game. That's not bad, actually. Although it was probably at the very end, those last 3 minutes. Not the end, the mid-end. Oh, and with the tanks early on, so that was a mistake. Okay, idle production time, APM. He had a lot more APM than me, but so be it. Very close game. He apparently was ahead somehow, even though he lost, but it's mainly because Zerg can just out-macro the crap out of you and remax, and I just crushed everything over and over again. I should probably work on my macro. And so here's their workers active. This right here. I wanted to do more damage to that with my drop. And if you look at the resource collection rate, you know, he generally did well, and I tried to hurt that with my drop, and I didn't hurt it enough. But again, he never, only except for here, did he really ever outpace me. And then at the end, I did a great job of muling up, getting the force. If you look at the army value, he's ahead a lot. But then he loses a bunch of big battles to me where I'm not losing here and here. So I engaged very well, got my thirds up in time, and you know, he had a bigger army value than me, but he kept losing it to these engagements. Because I engaged well, used my tanks well, and ultimately took him out. Yeah. That is it.